wherever you are. This is also your lovely media, Marianist media, coming from Nairobi, and also today we are in this special program called Religious Corner. So in this program, I'm not alone. I'm also with my sister from Little Missionary Sisters of Charity. We'll be discussing a number of topics, but especially we'll be focusing on vocation. That is the understanding of religious vocation according to their congregation. And also I will share something about Marianist and also in the same line of the vocation. So let me welcome your sister into our program today. How have you been?
Well, I've been doing good. I've been in Murang'a Diocese in our community in Mugweri, and there we have different activities like the school, the dispensary, and also is a formation house.
All right. Okay, so brothers and sisters, wherever you are, so today, as you have heard, I'm with Sister Teresiah from Little Missionary Sisters of Charity, and as I've said, we are going to be discussing about vocation, and also you are with me, your host, Brother Gerald William of the Marianist or Society of Mary. Yeah, so be with us and enjoy the program. Okay, welcome back. So, sister, maybe how do you understand by vocation? When you hear like vocation, how do you understand?
Well, vocation, as we all know, is a call or a gift from God that each one of us has, and we are also called to respond to our vocation in our different areas, and also that great desire that we have inside ourselves, where you feel, I am called to be a religious, or I'm called to single life or priesthood, or even marriage life, where you feel really that's where you want to be, or that's where you feel you want to serve God in that life.
All right, thank you very much. I want to understand how does one realize that maybe is being called, or maybe it's different according to each person. But how someone come to realize that I think God is calling me to this life?
Well, vocation is a mystery, and is something that we cannot really explain fully. It's something that we cannot comprehend by ourselves. What happens is whereby you begin with that inner desire. Maybe when you are young, just a little child in youth stage, and also when as you grow up, that desire becomes persistent. Well, sometimes it can come and then it disappears, but when it is persistent, then you are able to recognize, I feel I'm called more in this life than this one. And of course, with the prayers, you are able also to make a good discernment.
Okay, so upon one realize that he has been called, let's say to religious life, talking about priesthood, because if all of us here we are religious, sometimes I feel like it is very simple to know that you are being called to family life, because you see, as we grow up, and also knowing our sexuality, the way we change, there's just a certain particular time that our body tells us that you need to get married, or you need to start other activities which are associated by law, about maybe courtship or that kind of relationship. But normally it depends now to one's self-control to reach at a certain proper time of getting married. But now, like your vocation to religious life, which demands maybe like to take some vows, especially we talk of vows of chastity, poverty, or obedience. Maybe let's take the vow of chastity. It's something that it sounds like it's unnatural to. Yeah, it's kind of a natural. So now, how can does one maybe realize that I think I have to battle with this, and I think I'm being called to this life, not to marriage life. How does it reach that point of making some senses like that?
Well, generally or humanly speaking, we would all like to have that family or that marriage set up, because also we are brought up in a family, and this is the most close experience that we have. That is the way we see our parents and also our relationship with our siblings. And also we we grow in a society whereby most people are in that marriage setup, but you feel that when you have that desire to consecrate yourself to God, you find you not that we hate marriage life, or not that we would not like to get married or to have even children, but you feel that desire to consecrate yourself to God, because this is a vocation that we don't run from responsibilities of being a mother, or being a father, but we have to consecrate ourselves for the greater glory of God. And also, in religious life is a call whereby we are called to consecrate ourselves and to have that, to build that relationship with Christ. Not because we cannot do it as married people, but when we do it as a consecrated people, we have that responsibility or that initiative to make that intimate relationship with Christ, not for our own selves, but also for the other people that we serve.
Okay. Then maybe moving away from that, let's now focus in our own congregation. What does it mean that someone is being called to be a member of Little Missionary Sisters of Charity? What does it mean? Or how do you look at vocation within your congregation?
Well, as a vocation promoter, or as someone who deals mostly with the young girls, what matters the most is that desire. The first thing is that desire to become a religious person. Then, of course, even in the congregations, you are given time to discern, whereby you are able to know and also to feel, is this the congregation that really God is calling me to? And one thing that we look at is the charism, the spirituality, and also the way of life of that congregation, the mission, the apostolate, and so on. So when the girl will come in our congregation, we'll have the time for formation, whereby she'll have all the time to pray, to discern, and also to feel that she is developing that sense of belonging. Because when you don't have sense of belonging, then you will feel that you are in the wrong place. Like, for example, if I have that desire to be a consecrated woman and to serve in a medical setup, and then I come in a congregation whereby they don't deal with the dispensaries or the hospitals, then I'll feel I don't belong. Or I want a congregation whereby they deal only with education. So at the end of it, I'll feel I'm in the wrong place. So what is important, and this is what the formation provides, is that education where the candidate will be able to make her discernment, and also of course with the prayers. And at the end of time, you feel that you belong, you have that sense of belonging.
Okay, so it's quite interesting that at least you have that time to evaluate, like to see the candidate. They are not just receiving, but also you give the time the candidate to look and to see if really her vocation is really or is where she is seeking. And I think this is a crucial moment that need to be taken seriously, and most especially for the formators or people who promote vocation, to really to help young girls to really understand, is this really the life that I want to live? Maybe is this really the congregation I'm called to serve. Yeah, I think that's the most important thing to help most of these young girls to understand, because we have different gifts, and maybe some of our gifts cannot work well with the charism of a certain congregation, or maybe apostolate of a certain congregation. So it is kind of a thing that one has to also to have a time to like to discern, to look into, and also to have a accompaniment, like someone to accompany that young lady to say, okay, is this really what you are looking for? Or maybe we can suggest that maybe you try these people, or if you really feel like you are being called. But I want to ask you, have you ever met maybe some young girls that maybe they come to your place, but you realize that I think they just came to spend some time, but they are not really called, or maybe they just come to check what these people are doing, or yeah, kind of thing. Have you ever encountered something like that, those girls?
Well, sometimes it can happen because also many girls usually come with different motivations, and also to see, like, you come just to see what they do, and that is why we call it come and sing.
Mm,
Because when the girl comes, we don't expect her to behave immediately as a religious,
yeah.
but we have that transition from home then to the community life. And this takes time because it is not an instant change.
Mm,
That's why you can find some girls will come, then by the end of aspirancy, probably after the 6 months, the girl will feel, and if the person is open, will tell you, sister, after my experience, I really feel I have a vocation to religious life, but I don't feel I'm called to this congregation.
mm,
Now, because she has already learned something about our charism, she has seen what kind of life we live, about our prayer life, about our community life, and exactly. So by the end of the 6 months, she'll be able to know about her own self, and also to see, am I really called here? Do I want to continue? If no, she can just tell the sister, I feel like this and like this. And also we usually have this dialogue whereby we ask the girl, how is it going? How do you feel? How are you able to feel that the charism is challenging you? How are you able to put yourself in the activities in the community life? And slowly, slowly, by the end of the first stage, the girl will be able to evaluate herself together with the formator and see also the way forward. If there are some challenges or some difficulties, and the candidate is ready to rectify or is ready to be guided, then she'll be given the chance to continue. Because also we are not perfect, and every time we make mistake or we find difficulties, but what is important is that our readiness to be corrected, and also our readiness to change, that openness that you are able to see this is my mistake, and also you are ready to rectify.
all right. So it's quite interesting. Let me just share something maybe about our congregation as a Marianist. I think in all religious life, I think we have quite a similar formation. I think the basics is just the same. But maybe sometimes it's on the inner vocation of how you understand. Like if you look at us as a Marianist, we are brothers and priests. But also being a brother, us being brothers and priests, there is also a certain difference that when you look at another maybe congregation that also they are brothers and priests. You can maybe, if you are able to visit the Marianist, and also you are able to visit some other congregation, and to compare, you can say, okay, these are brothers and priests, but I think there is quite a difference, because for us Marianists, according to our rule of life, that is our constitution, chapter 1 and article number 2, it talks that our core is to be a Marianist. So first thing that we, like when we encounter a candidate, is to help that candidate also to understand who are the Marianists. What do they do? As you have said, what is their apostolate? What do they focus mainly? Or how do you understand the charism according to the Marianist congregation? Yeah. So you see that like in a Marianist, the first time, for example, I applied to join the Marianist. I remember I was the first year to college back in Malawi. And when I applied, I wrote my letter that I want to become a Marianist priest. After I read some of their brochures and see what did a Marianist mean. And what attracted me most to Marianist congregation was there's a uniqueness, there's what they call the family spirit. But that family spirit also is shown in the way that the brothers and the priest live. Because they emphasize that there is no distinction between a brother and a priest. When you come to Marianist congregation, you realize that maybe a main work of a priest in Marianist congregation is first to serve the brothers, and also to, in terms of to offering the sacrament to the brothers. Then after he offers those sacraments to the brothers, he moves out and also to help other Christians outside. So the first apostolate for our priest is within the family of a Marianist. Then later he goes out. And also the most interesting thing is that you will see that when you meet them, and also when you meet brothers and the priest, the Marianist priest together, you may not realize who is a priest and who is a brother. That's a quite interesting thing that I saw. In terms of meals, there's no like maybe these are superiors and these are juniors. We mixed up. Or even if our general superior is there, you mix up, you chat as the way you can interact with your fellow brother. So there's that kind of that it removes the fear of your own brother. Like you can just as some say that how beautiful where brothers stays as one. Yeah. Now, when you first when we encounter students as candidates, as I have said, first of all, we have to share what a Marianist means, or what to become a Marianist means. Which means, first of all, is to know that our congregation is dedicated to Mary, according to our founder. That's the name Marianist. The Marianist is a kind of a nickname, but in the full is called the Society of Mary. Yeah. So we are dedicated to the work of Mary. Like we help Mary in giving birth to Jesus. We know that through incarnation, Mary was able to bring Jesus to the world. But as Marianists, we believe that still this Jesus Christ should continue being born in the lives of people. And how can we make the incarnation continuous? Is now to participate in that work of Mary. So in whatever we do, we integrate that incarnation and say, okay, are we really bringing Jesus into the world? That's how we understand that part of incarnation. We still giving that birth to Christ to those maybe people who don't know Christ, and also maybe through our apostolate. That's through our apostolate, in which also our founder made it open that according to the signs of time, number of our apostles can be broadened in a certain way, but not moving away from what we are called to be as a Marianist. So you can see, like currently, us as a Marianist, mostly we focus on education, and also we have different professionals. We have accountants, we have engineers, we have also Marianist sisters, and some who works in the hospitals. So you see that in all these apostolates that we have. But the focus is, are we able to give birth to Christ? Are we able to help Mary in giving birth to Christ? So, also similarly to what you have said, when now a candidate understand this, it's not really full that or that really he has understood everything. So he has to pass through that kind of initial formation, and which you are saying that also the other thing is to attend come and see program, in which sometimes a candidate can spend 2 weeks or maybe 1 week, depending also on the congregation. We can spend that period just to see how the brothers live, participating in their prayers, and also having different brothers talking to that candidate, so that if he has some questions, to be able to understand, and to, as you have said, to compare, to see, is this really the life that I'm called to? Can I manage to live like this? Of course, as you have said, we are not perfect. There might be something that he can say, I think with this one I cannot manage. But is it minor or major? Is it something that their congregation values so much, or maybe it's something that it's just a mind that you say, by time maybe I can adapt and learn it. So after that, now we have what we call living program, in which is still in the process of discernment. You are given like a bit a longer period that you can still spend with the brothers. Now maybe for example for 1 month, and then you stay with the brothers and see how they live in their life, and that you are able also to participate in some of their apostolate, just to have a bit of experience that they do. So you are not much focused like in serious formation, but you're able to go to help in some apostolate, but also apart from that, to still to journey with the brothers, and to have different brothers talking to you, to understand, to know you better, and also you to know them, so that you see if really your life and their life, they are reaching at the same level. And from that period, we have the period which we call now aspirants, and it is almost closer to like 1 year, closer to 1 year. That maybe it is a bit serious formation, that now you have to spend a lot of time with brothers. It's not sometimes you find some they can give up, they say maybe these people they pray too much. Sometimes also it can happen and or maybe you can say, I like it because they have more time for prayer, you see, or maybe I like it because also according to the way you feel, once you feel that I think this is the life that I need or I want. Apart from that, so after you evaluate the student candidates, you are able also to see who are really serious about the vocation, or who are pretending or what. So that now is time for mentors to sit down to see, how did you see this candidate? Do you see that this is the real life that he can live or whatever? So after that period now is what we come to novitiate now, which is look like more intensive, and also like in our congregation, which means you don't so much, you spend much time inside. Maybe you participate in a few apostolates outside, but in much time we see serious formation, in which also you participate in number of activities, prayer, work, spiritual reading, and maybe also recreation, and kind of those things that but it is trying much to help you. Can you leave the world and to spend much time with God, to focus much on your vocation? So that's a tricky period that most of the times I feel like it's challenging to the world of technology nowadays, because it's kind of temptation that still I need to be in touch with people. To be in touch with people from home, and also from the good friends that we have been having outside. And that's why sometimes you find that some people in that process, maybe they give up. You say, maybe I cannot manage this. But it reaches the time that you really appreciate that formation period and say, I think it was worth it. Maybe as I have shared like that, I just want to ask you, how long does it take? Okay, because for us, after that novitiate, now one is also evaluated, and to see if he can take his first vows, and when he takes his first vows, he received his rule of life, constitution, and also he has to receive his cross, that's the sign according to the Marian, that now he is welcome in the congregation, and also he belongs to the family, Marianist family. I don't know, how long does it take for you, for someone to say, okay, maybe now he can make a final vows, or because there is what we call in Marian, it's also continuous formation, that maybe in the number of maybe in congregation for sisters normally called the juniorate, also is a kind of formation that after like post novitiate formation, and after that is when now you renew your vows until you make your final vows. How does it work in your congregation, maybe after one has made his first vows or her first vows in that case?
Once we have that kind of formation, first it begins with aspirancy that goes for 6 months. Then after that, we have postulancy that goes for 2 years, whereby the first year you are with the formator, is you are under that formation. Then the second year you are sent to a different community, also to practice what you learned in the postulancy, and also to see what the sisters do. Then after the postulancy, we have the novitiate. This is more serious, as you have said, as yours, because this is the foundation of religious life. So we have 2 years of novitiate. The first year is the canonical year, whereby you are supposed to be inside in the novitiate, to be more of prayerful, and also to you can involve yourself to different activities outside, but mostly you should be in the serious formation. Then after that, the second year you are sent to a different community now to do the experience before you make your first profession. So after the experience is whereby you request to make your first profession, and the superiors will and the formators will sit down, will evaluate, and if they accept, then you are accepted to do your first profession, whereby we have the evangelical counsels according to the church. We have the poverty, the obedience, and the chastity. But also in our congregation, we have a specific vow of charity according to our constitutions, and also according to the will of our founder, Saint Regis. So to become really a religious is a formation, is a continuous formation. Even when after you become already a sister, you have that junior rate that goes between 5 and 9 years, whereby after the 5th year you can request to make your perpetual profession. And of course, even after the perpetual profession, you still have the ongoing formation, because it's a continuous discernment life process, whereby you have to be prayerful, to be committed to your vocation, and also to have this ongoing formation.
Yeah, I think what I've seen also similar, like for us, we have also those vows, like the general vows that every religious have to make, like the vow of poverty, the vow of chastity, and the vow of obedience. But now in also Marianist, we have additional vow according to our founder, Blessed William Joseph Chaminade, that is vow of stability. And also Benedictines make you also the vow of stability. But in our Marianist, for vow of stability now, it calls you to live like the Marianist life for the rest of your life. So it's like you vow to remain a Marianist for the rest of your life, you see. So apart from making the vow that you want to live a religious life, but also that vow you vow that you live that a religious life for the rest of your life, but as a Marianist. So that's what it says. And as you have said, in religious life there is no graduation. That's not normally what. There is no graduation that now I have reached this stage, then I have graduated. I've finished this stage, then I have graduated. Also, no, it's kind of something that is you have to be responding continuously, but because it's still the yes that we said, it doesn't mean that now we have done everything, like we are now master of all the yeses that we said. As a vow of chastity, we can still tempted. We normally say that God calls us the way we are. So with our sexuality, with everything, so we have to maintain it, to see how you can maintain that yes for the rest of your life, despite all the challenges that you'll be facing in life. And apart from that, also in terms of the vow of maybe obedience, it looks simple, but to obey someone and telling you have to do this, you have to do. Sometimes when maybe someone make final vows, you said, you cannot tell me what to do. Now I have a ring, I have whatever. No, but now it calls you also for humility and to be able to accept everyone that God has put in your life to guide you. Now you come to the vow for poverty. You know how sweet sometimes it is to have some cash in the hands, and maybe apart from that, according to the way we look at poverty, we look at our families at home where we are coming from, and see the siblings that you have, the change that they are facing, whatever, and your parents maybe have spent a lot of money taking you to school or whatever, and expecting much. Sometimes we have also this challenge on the vow of poverty. And now every time you have also to be saying yes, or to see after you face some challenge, you go down, but sometimes you rise up again and say, okay, this is the life that I chose. How can I continue saying yes? Yeah, thinking that. Anyway, that's how our life is in reality. We cannot say that it's easy. For me, I can't say that it's easy. Or sometimes I feel it hard, like to promise someone that our life is easy. Sometimes it looks so sweet when you are looking at it from outside. But when you enter, you have to also. There is also those challenges that you have to face. It's just the same thing about the marriage life, that the marriage looks sweet. Sometimes you can look at them and say, I wish I could have gotten married. Maybe I could have been enjoying this or enjoying that, But now, sometimes you sit with married people and they share you the stories that they are facing in marriage. Sometimes you can say, thinking, I'm okay where I am. You see, I remember one time interacting with one of the sisters when I was in novitiate from a sister, I think from Sacred Heart, if I'm not wrong. She's also called Sister Teresiah. And when we are sharing about the stories about some challenges, whatever, then we are talking about marriage and also religious life. And she was like, Gerald, that we normally say that the grass is greener the other side. Then she said, it's not that the grass is greener the other side, but the grass is greener where you water it. So I think we just need, if you really embrace the life that you have chosen, what now matters is to water, not to water it, to water it to grow. If it is a marriage life, water it so that it grows. You can enjoy your marriage life the way you want it to be. Or maybe it's a single life that you have been called to. You water that one. Maybe the last thing that I want to share about the Marian is that despite that we are brothers and priests, but also we have what we call lay Marianists. These are now a group of married people, but who live a Marianist life, and also they take their promises and vows, whatever. And we have also what we call Alliance Marial. I don't know if I am pronouncing it right, but because it's a French word. But these are also our brothers, but who vowed to Marianist life, but they don't live in the community. They live a single life, but outside the community. But they are Marianist. Then we have Marianist sisters. So Marianist family is kind of a bigger family. That worldwide we are there, but it's a kind of a bigger family that it tries to accommodate almost everyone. So in whatever we do, we try to bring our identity even in our pastorate. So when we visit like number of our schools or maybe institutes that we have, you may go to Malawi, you may come to Zambia. I mean, you may go to Zambia, you may be in Kenya here, but you find that the you find like maybe the whole school formation is just were being done at the same time, because you find the common aspects of Marianist life in every institute that you visit in the Marian's family.
Well, we also have the Sons of Divine Providence, who are our priests. We are founded by the same founder. We also have the Blind Sacramentin Sisters, who we are also founded by the same founder. And here in Kenya, they are in Meru, whereby their main apostolate is adoration. Though they do the other works in the house and also they go for apostolate, but their main apostolate is adoration, whereby they are able to pray for us and also to pray for the world, to pray for the church and different intentions in the world. We also have a lay movement. It's called the Orion and lay movement. These are the people who have their own families, they live their life, but they are able to follow the charism or our way of life. We involve them in our activities and also different activities that we do. They also help us to know more about the people in the society, the people that we are called to serve. So we have these different communities or the branches of the Sons of Divine Providence, whereby we work together, we carry almost the same activities, and also we spread that charism, that charity that our founder left to us.
All right. It's quite interesting that it seems like we have a lot of similarities. Uh, and the most thing that, like when I visited your community sometimes back, and also one of your activities, I think profession of some of your two sisters that time. It was my first time, I think, to see religious who were blind, I was so like you say, I was wondering. I said, oh, they also have blind people who are also religious, and when we talk about inclusivity, I think that's what it means, to try to accommodate everyone. Of course, for us also Somalians, we have what we call inclusivity, in which we try to accommodate everyone. But I think in your congregation also you took it to a certain level, that you saw that even the blind, they are also called to serve God in a special way. And you tried, your founder at least try to find also a space for them, and they see, okay, this one they can serve at this particular category. And it's something that really, to me, when I look at it, it just gives me joy when I normally when I participate in some of your activities or visiting. It's kind of thing that I admire. And so yeah, I think if we say that we love, I think this is the extent also of taking the love of Christ, and to see that no, not only us but also them all together in this mission. All right. Thank you very much. It was nice talking to you and also seeing you after a long time. Yeah, and also hearing from you. I think we have shared a lot and enough for now. Almost we have talked almost to close to, yeah, like now it's 40 minutes, imagine. Yeah, it was nice to have you here. And I don't know if you have any last word that you want to say, and before we finish our program.
Well, I also thank you for this initiative and also for inviting me for this program. And we hope we shall do much together.
Exactly.
Thank you.
All right. So our listeners, wherever you are, so this is also the end of our program, and this program we call it Religious Corner, and you are with me, Brother Gerald William, and also Sister.
Mary Teresiah of the
Yes, and
Little Missionary Sisters of Charity.
Yeah, and as you have heard in our program, we are sharing something about vocation. Generally, we are looking on the vocation, and also we looked in this vocation according to our congregation. How do we understand it? If you say you are called to marry and it's life, what does it mean? And if we say you are called to little missionary sisters of charity, what does it mean? So you have heard for yourself, and for yourselves, and the choice is yours to make a decision. You can join Marianist brothers, Marianist priest, or the Marianist in general, or maybe you can also join our sisters, Donorion sisters, called also Little Missionary Sisters of Charity. Yeah, we still need the people in our congregation to help us in spreading the gospel, to help us in spreading the love of our Lord Jesus Christ. So until we meet next time, we're just wishing you a blessed day. Thank you very much.
Anayewalisha ndege angani, ndiye anayeshusha neema, anashusha kwa viumbe vyote. Imejaa maneno ya kushukuru. Ashukuriwe Mwenyezi anayeketi katika patakatifu, usiku mchana, mwanzo wa mwaka mpaka mwisho wake. Ni Mungu aketiye juu, anayenilinda vidole yangu.